Hi guys, welcome to my tea talks, and your girl is finally back. New backdrop, new lighting, new advice, new tea, new everything. So let's begin. This video, I wanted to start with something simple and just straight to the point, where I am in life, what's going on my mind, and just generally, I feel like this is kind of a safe space for me or anyone else who wants to talk about stuff. And yeah, it does feel weird to be back on Tea Talks again, and it just feels like maybe I'm just chatting a bunch of tea. Let's say that. But the funny thing is, I feel like since I've done my last YouTube and Tea Talks, everything has changed. I have changed a lot. My life has changed. My approach to a lot of things have changed, and my mindset has changed. So let's go from what has changed. I'm happier. I'm a lot more self-aware. As you saw in my recent post, I've been kind of thinking a lot. And by the way, guys, this video does not have no flow. This is just a general talk. With my other videos, there will be more flow, more facts and stuff like that. But I felt like with the intro video, I just don't want to be like, okay, this is destruction and stuff like that. I just wanted to talk about what's going to come up in my next few videos. We talk about self-doubt. I want to be talking about people pleasing. I want to be talking about how do you balance of having self-awareness, setting your boundaries, but also taking into account the other person's feelings and emotions and stuff, and not falling into the trap of people pleasing. By the way, in no way or form, I'm not a professional or anything like that. So your girls learn everything through therapy, through learning myself and things like that. I also want to talk about how journaling, and I felt like it's not for me, how I wanted to give up, and I was just like, you know what, this is not for me. I don't think I could do this anymore. Those moments, I want to talk about moments where, thoughts that no one says out loud, which I feel like need to be spoken about. And I also want to talk about, in my upcoming videos, about how, mental health became, and I say in quotation marks, though, it's because people, some people, not all people, labeled it as a trend. And I felt like mental health shouldn't be a trend, especially if, for me, I got very frustrated for the fact of I actually went through depression. I actually went through anxiety. I went through suicide. I went through things that shouldn't even, people don't speak about, right? Because you're like, oh, Manny's so bubbly, Mannmol's so bubbly, she's this, she's that. But no one knows what you go through behind closed doors, where you feel so alone, even though you got carrying people around you, or stuff that you don't want to do, or that self-doubt, or where you always question, am I good enough? Is this good enough? Is that good enough? Or where you feel like you're not enough. So there's a lot of things I want to go into detail and uncover. I want this to be a safe, open space. And, you don't talk about the fluffy shit. You talk about things that you really want to know about mental health and talk about. You get me? And also you want to talk about own toxic behaviors and, things that I learned about myself recently, about one of the things I recently learned was I don't like the fact that, especially when you're in a rut, or when you keep talking about the same thing or the same people, and yes, you get frustrated and stuff, and there's a way to vocalize how you feel. For me, I've recently found that love through gym. I'm like, okay, if I'm pissed off with anyone, or if anyone wants to piss me off, I want to go gym. Even though it's a bit of a lad outlookish, I guess. I'm not saying it in sexist terms. Girls can lift, girls could go gym. Us girls, we're thriving. But it's more the fact of, okay, what's a healthy outlet? For me, I feel like sitting there writing and journaling, it doesn't always work for me. And I feel like gym did, and it pushed me to feel very empowered and things like that. There's been times in the gym where I've gone in there and I'm like, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. But I still pushed through it, and then after I felt that, the natural release of endorphins and felt better and whatnot. I think the thing is, people okay, I'm jumping again. Let me just go back to, you'll know these videos have a lot of tangents. I will go on a lot of tangents, and I will try my best to get these videos very short, sharp and simple, and make sure they're straight to the point and not going on a whole world of spectrum of everything, because your girl can make a conversation out of bloody toothpaste if I wanted to. But I feel I think recently what I learned about myself is I didn't want to fall into the trap of gossiping and keep talking about the same things again and again. I wanted to kind of stop that about myself, and I was like, okay, how do I balance with having a healthy outlet, also vocalizing how I feel, but also not falling in that toxic trap. Do you know when you're pissed off with someone and you'll say, you know, I have the tendency to sometimes say that, and I'll call myself out on my own shit right now, is when you start getting very angry and you start turning spiteful. And how do you switch that back to normal, like, and things like that. So I feel like no one talks about, like, it's so easy to point out flaws in someone else, and we can point out flaws in ourselves as well. Especially, like, think about it, when you have what are your weaknesses, when they ask you in an interview, you can name so many weaknesses about yourself, right? Or when you say, but when someone says, okay, what are you good at, what are you talented at, for me sometimes I hold back. I'm like, because the thing is, I feel like for myself, I can only speak for myself, you don't want to come across like kind of self-centered or arrogant or conceited. So that's why you kind of like, okay, and I feel like there's a balance. If you can be confident in yourself and you can be like confident, but just don't think you're better than other people. Like, at the end of the day, your competition is with yourself. And yeah, and I feel like there's a lot, I feel like, and this will come through the videos and stuff, and like, I'm going on a journey. Hopefully people will join me on this journey, or they can relate or feel better from my video, walk away thinking, you know what, Mannmol's actually talking some sense. And I feel like I could turn to, you know, Mannmol's videos and be like, okay, cool, this girl is inspiring me or smashing it. Like, I don't want to be sitting here with fluffy shit and be like, oh yeah, I swore a bit too many times. Oh well, we'll move from it. But I don't want anyone to sit there and be like, okay, yeah, like, positive vibes only. Because at the end of the day, 24/7, you're not going to be positive. That's just toxic positivity. And you can't be like, okay, smile, think positively. And like, unlearning these behaviors, traumas, pain, all that stuff, it takes time. It takes a journey. The Mannmol I was in 2017 was different to the Mannmol I was in 2012, to the Mannmol that I was even, in fact, last year. We change, we grow, and things like that. And I'm trying to force myself to be disciplined and become the woman I want to become. And hopefully, learning some facts, tips, tricks, trying some things. You know, if you guys suggested something, I will try it, see if it works and doesn't work. And yeah, this page is not just about creativity and things like that. It's also about mental health, where I've begun with, and what I want to also stick to the core of. But I also want to, you know, do my creative photography and business, because that, thanks to lockdown, I actually started like my business through that, where I can be like, you know, wait, I actually have a talent. When people were like, oh, what's your talent? I used to be like, I don't, you're talking to me, I don't have a talent. But I actually do, like, you know, creative photography, like thinking of things. You can give me any household thing, I can transfer that into like, okay, let's take that into like a creative vision. So that's a talent in itself. And I feel like, yeah, I just can't wait to share and show you guys the journey that I begin with, and hopefully become more consistent with these videos, and, you know, having a lot of love and support along the way, and actually building that community that we used to build during lockdown and stuff. So yeah, stay tuned for my journey, everything else, and bye guys, have a good day. And yeah, show me some love and support, because your girl's out here doing stuff.